thank you everyone for taking a few minutes out of your schedule today and for joining us and allowing us the opportunity to show you SmartChart. As I mentioned, my name is Doug McGregor, and I'm the VP Customer Success at Periodontal. And it appears that the majority of the people actually with us today saw us at the ASM 19. We certainly enjoyed the show, and I hope everyone else did as well. And I'm Canadian, so I have to talk about the weather for a minute. So we're based in Ottawa, and good news is that the outdoor patios will likely be open this weekend. But with the amount of snow that we had last year and the crazy amount of spring rain, we've seen a significant amount of flooding along the Ottawa River. And so my heart certainly goes out to those that are having to deal with this. But let me tell you, I'm so looking forward to putting my winter boots in storage and tuning up my bike and enjoying some of this nice spring weather. Anyways, enough about the weather. Let's talk about SmartChart. So SmartChart is we're going to focus today on the perio charting aspect of it, because that is where we're seeing the biggest uptake. So I'm going to say that SmartChart is a perio charting software that will bridge to many of the existing practice management software systems. And the bridge itself performs much like the bridge that you would use for your imaging software. So there's no need to change. We are an enhancement to it. So our unique perio charting software was designed from the ground up to be used by your voice. So voice for us was not an afterthought. It was a driving force behind the development of SmartChart. So our unique perio charting software is really, it allows you to stay focused on your patients. And we've got this little slide to highlight one of the key things that we're getting feedback on, and that is that by staying focused on the patient's mouth, there's no more shifting over to the keyboard, entering the results on the keyboard, back into the patient's mouth, back over to the keyboard. So it eliminates a lot of that twisting back and forth motion. And it's also helping to reduce the eye strain, as you're allowed now to stay focused on the patient's mouth. You're not going from focusing into the patient's mouth, then over to the screen, and especially if you're using loops or something, it can be quite an eye strain going from this little screen. And the one of the things that we often hear from people is how hard is it to actually start to work with SmartChart. And I'll have you know that we actually did a training session this morning. It was quite enlightening. Last week we did a 1-hour training session with the system administrator. She showed we showed her how to set up users and the basic administration of the system. That was about a 35 to 40-minute training session. And then she went ahead, set up the users, basically handed over the keys to the system to the users, and said, just go in and set up your voice profile. She gave them a brief instruction how to do that. We went in this morning to do the training. And lo and behold, they had already done several charts on their own without any training from us. So it gives you an idea of how easy it is to operate with the system. It is a very intuitive system, and what we generally say is, chart half a dozen patients, and you're an expert. It's a very intuitive system. Now, one of the things that we often hear, one of the things I heard from a client of ours who had used the software for just a few weeks, when I went back in to meet with them, I met with the hygienist and the dentist, and I talked about how things were going, and the hygienist looks the dentist in the eye and says, just what we have on the screen, "Don't you dare take this away." People that when they start to use it really do enjoy working with SmartChart. So I'd like to, at this point, maybe hand it back over to Tracy, and Tracy can show you SmartChart in action, and a little introduction to Tracy. So Tracy has been in the industry for about 25 years, with her last 17 years working with a periodontist. So she certainly knows her way around a periodontal chart. So Tracy?
Thanks, Doug. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on SmartChart in Action. And thanks, Doug, for that nice introduction. As he mentioned, I've actually spent over 30 years in dentistry. I spent 1 year as a dental assistant, about 29 and a half years as a dental hygienist, and about 3 weeks as a front desk receptionist. So I'm not really good at math, but you can sure tell where my passion lies. And as a statistic of MSD myself, I've got osteoarthritis in my neck, which has probably been exacerbated by our profession. I'm pretty passionate about, putting this product out there and saying, hey, we can make your job a lot easier on your body. No more twisting and trying to write numbers down with an easy, intuitive, easy-to-use system. So I know your time is precious here. I understand that, so I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen and get right to the SmartChart area. Okay. So as you can see, I already have a patient open. We had previously named this patient Doris Day, and some of you may know she just passed away actually on Monday. She was quite an icon in the acting business and music, of course. But anyway, so she, as you can see, she's had many periodontal exams over the last little while. So nothing much has changed. We just use her as a practice demo. So you can open a patient record using the Find Patient button, which you'll see on the very lower right-hand side of the screen, either Find Patient or New Patient. But if you have a DPMS system then that has a bridge to SmartChart, you can select the patient in the DPMS and then click on a button, and SmartChart will automatically open that patient for you. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to demonstrate just the upper arch in particular. It automatically starts charting on the distal buccal of 1/8, and I'm going to chart the entire arch. So if I was working with this patient in the chair, I'd put my headset on, I would use the mouse to then click the voice icon. Sorry, new mouse here. Click the voice icon on, and as you can see, it highlights in red, and it is ready to receive my voice. Start. 3, 3, 4, bleeding. 4, recession 2. 5, recession 3. Remove pocket depth. Previous. Recession 3. 4. 5. recession 2, 5, recession 2, 2, recession 2, 5, recession 2, bleeding, 4, 4, bleeding, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, 2, abrasion, 5, 4, recession 2, 4, recession 2, 4, recession 2, 5, bleeding, 6, bleeding, suppuration, furcation 1, 5, 5, bleeding, 4, 5, bleeding, 3, 4, bleeding, 5, 4, bleeding, 5, bleeding, suppuration, 5, bleeding, 5, recession 1, 3, recession 1, 5, recession 1, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 5, bleeding, 4, 5, bleeding, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, select 1, 7, mobility 1, select 2, 6, mobility 1, stop, SmartChart, pause. Okay, so as you can see, I charted an arch in less time than I would generally use in my practice, charting or tracking down an assistant to help me. So I'm going to take a few minutes now just to go through and highlight the aspects of SmartChart. Right now you can see that the voice input of SmartChart is currently paused, and SmartChart can be operated, however, without using any voice input at all. You can use a voice and a keyboard as well. So SmartChart can be easily paused by saying SmartChart pause, or it will automatically pause after about 60 seconds. This is particularly useful when you're communicating with your patient or someone else in the operatory as your doctor's coming in. The other important feature to be aware of is when SmartChart is paused, it's not listening for a command like Google Home or Alexa digital assistant. So it's not listening for your commands. The microphone to the right of the paused button on the upper right, this is where you would train your voice. Typically, training takes about 6 to 7 minutes to do, and it only has to be done once. To the right of that, we have our printer icon, and that can print to a PDF, or you can print to your local printer if you'd like to print out a copy to mail to the insurance company or to give to your patient to take home. So to the right of that, you can see that I'm currently logged in as Tracy Poirier, and when I log in, my voice profile automatically follows me. So no matter which operatory I'm working out of, I log in as myself, my voice profile is automatically there. So the input box, which I'm just going to go into the start mode here. The input box, which just popped up on the screen, shows you exactly where you are on the tooth, and it also shows you the conditions that are available for charting. So you can see that some of the conditions I charted as I was going along, I was also adding recession. You can choose to just do your pocket depths and then go back and do your recessions, or you can actually do it in the one pass in particular. So to the left here, the very left of the screen, you can see that I'm currently in arch mode. If I click on that, there's a drop-down menu that you can, if one session in particular, you just want to do a particular quadrant because you've done some scaling and root planing, or you can do just an individual tooth if you're having to track an area in particular. And there are, of course, several charting sessions here that are stacked. You can see all the previous time-stamped and date-stamped previous sessions. So easy to see in a glance if anything has changed, or to check to follow the improvement as we go along. You have the choice on the lower left here to skip implants. I worked in a perio office, so I was always charting my implants, but some practices prefer to leave that up to the periodontist or the surgeon who placed the implants to keep an eye on that. Down to the lower half of the screen, you can see that Doris Day actually has, there's a little icon here, and if I click on that, I can see that she has an allergy to latex, or you can see on the, just below the arrow there that it hovering over brings up that allergy. Now, if you're using a DPMS system, we recommend that you continue to do your medical history treatment planning clinical notes within your system. However, if you're paper-based, you can import your medical history, put in treatment plans, you can create templates for your clinical notes, and of course, you can import your files as well as photographs from your intraoral camera. To the right of that is your session approval. So what I would go ahead and do is, if I'm happy with everything that I've inputted into that session, I would click session approval, and that would lock that be an audit trail. However, if you do not do that, it will automatically lock at the end of the day at 12 midnight. So if, for instance, the next day you came in and you thought, oh, geez, I forgot to add this note for Doris Day's chart, you would have to go in, create a new session, and just pop that clinical note in there. So it's not like you can't add to it after the fact. So this is just a brief overview. If you have any questions, please click on the Q&A box and type them in. And are there any questions for us now?
Thank you, Tracy, for the demo. Yes, we actually have a couple of questions. So the first question I would say is for Doug is, how much does SmartChart cost?
Thanks, Godfrey. The basic price on SmartChart starts at $150, and depending on the size of the practice can go up from there. But we have tried to make sure that SmartChart is priced very affordably. And I should also indicate that there is for each voice user on the system, there is a one-time startup fee of $250. And probably a better way to say each voice user, it is more that each operatory that is equipped with voice is a one-time fee of $250. But with that $250, we also include the microphone, and there is a full 2-year warranty on that microphone.
Awesome, thank you, Doug. The next question is, does it work with different accents? Tracy, do you mind taking this question?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Godfrey. Yes, it does work with accents. In fact, one of the demos that we did for ASM was showing 4 different people, one with a British accent, one with a Russian accent, an Indian accent, and so we were able to portray that. It picks up it's solely on your voice. So I think the key with accents is, and with even when we're training, is just to be very succinct with your voice training. It's not something you want to race through, and you want to be putting your pauses between what you're calling out in the voice training system, and it picks up beautifully.
Perfect. Following up with that same question, how long would it take to do a voice training?
Voice training is approximately 6 to 7 minutes. When you click on the training icon, it will automatically bring you to an area that goes through a series of sentences, most of which are dental related. So we haven't, we haven't taught SmartChart the English language. It's mostly listening for dental commands in particular. So 67 minutes, and you should have that all complete.
Awesome. And the last question I have is, what if I go between operatories? If I work at multiple operatories, do I have to train on every computer there?
Yeah, and I think I'd mentioned that in the webinar, that when you go to, if I'm working in operatory 1 on Friday and Monday I'm going in and I'm working out of operatory 2, all I have to do is log in under Tracy, and then my voice profile will automatically come into that operatory with my login info. So pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. That's all the questions we have. I'm going to hand over to you, Doug.
Wonderful. Thanks, Godfrey. So I want to thank everyone that that attended today's SmartChart webinar. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to attend, and please feel free to reach out to us at any time for more info. I've left our contact info on this screen, and I will leave it up for a minute or two if you want to copy it down. But we will be sending you a copy of the this webinar as well. And if your office would like a one-on-one webinar, we are happy to accommodate. We can set them up on very short notice, and we will do our best to do it over our lunch hour or whatever time frame works best for you. And then we can cover any specific questions or concerns that might be related to your office. So I want to thank you again for attending today's webinar, and please look forward to receiving our copy of this webinar.
Thanks, everybody. You have a great afternoon.